Channel6.ca, supported by...
Sadly, the summer is over and it's time to think about winterizing your RV. Vellner Leisure Products has an annual drive-through winterizing event, October 2nd to 4th and October 16th to 18th. It's Vellner Leisure Products, the RV store in the corner with the fountain, Red Deer.
Well, with an election this close for this long, I think that there are both serious disadvantages to every major party as well as strong points. And so the individual voter will have to do a kind of cost-benefit analysis. Who will give you what you want, and can you believe their promises? And secondly, how much baggage that you don't like would they bring with them into the high office? And I think with that kind of calculus of promises, are they believable, and the downside of each of the major candidates, I think that is probably leading to the closeness of the contest up to now. I don't want to pick on any of the parties. I think I'm going to try to be impartial to all and say that they all come with a significant amount of downside for certain segments of the voting body. The Conservatives are looking pretty time-worn. They've been in since 2006. Major players have resigned. John Baird, Peter MacKay aren't running again. And so there's a sense of there's a need for a change. Quite a few people feel that. And a leading indicator of the desire for change is usually Atlantic Canada. They tend to have changed party allegiance prior to a change federally. Prior to the 1993 Liberal victory of Chrétien, the Atlantic Canada was all Liberal provincial governments. Prior to Harper coming in 2006, all those Liberal governments in Atlantic Canada disappeared, and Atlantic Canada had 4 Conservative governments. Then the Conservatives came in 2006. Well, look where Atlantic Canada is now. 3 out of the 4 are Liberal. That doesn't look good for a Harper majority. So the idea of natural cycles, and the Conservatives are nearing the end of their period, and there are many other problems, but I think that would be the main one for the Conservatives. I could maybe mention they aren't on climate change, on environment, democracy, omnibus budget bills, 450-page bills that got the Navigable Waters Protection Act and the Fisheries Act, our major environmental protection acts, removing them from 99% of our lakes and rivers. There's a whole bunch of things that the Conservatives done, and we could get into foreign policy, but then you look at the disadvantages. The Liberals can no longer take the multicultural ethnic vote for granted. They are offside there on legalization of marijuana, it looks like, legalization of prostitution. The Conservatives might make gains on those issues. The Liberals want to have 3 years of deficits. We've already added $150 billion to the debt since 2008, and they say, well, interest rates are low, but we've got this accumulated debt, and when interest rates go up, that's going to get expensive, very expensive to finance. And it looks like interest rates are closer to going up than they were in the past. The NDP, are their numbers believable? They say they can have a balanced budget and they can bring in $15 a day daycare. Really, can they? How much do they depend on the provinces to put up money for this that the provinces haven't agreed to? And then there's the constitutional file, wanting to reopen that, and whether 50% plus one vote is enough to pull Quebec out of Canada. And if there was another referendum, the Supreme Court said no, it isn't. The NDP want to scrap the Clarity Act that says, you know, a fuzzy question with a very narrow victory isn't enough to pull Quebec out of Canada. And NDP want to go back and retrace that step, those things, battles that have already been won. Do they want to take a lot of time and try to abolish the Senate and get us embroiled in constitutional battles? So they all have some problems. They all come forward with promises. And so the voters are going to have their work cut out for them to make sense of it all.